Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and here's a look at the 7 exclusive Ninjago minifigures releasing in LEGO's Build-A-Minifigure at LEGO stores in 2026. The official release date for these is January 1st, however, as you can see, I have them in front of me right here, and this is not the case like the sets where LEGO sent them to me early. No, I did actually purchase these at the LEGO store, so even though the official release date is January 1st, keep an eye out because certain stores might have them already, and if they don't have them yet, they might have them soon. So while they're probably going to be quite easy to find after January 1st, there's a chance you can find them now like I did. I'm also aware that not everybody has a LEGO store nearby, so they may not be able to get these. LEGO does have an online version of Build-A-Minifigure. I can't guarantee these parts are going to there, but hopefully they will be on the online version as well, so that way people who can't go to LEGO stores physically can still get these guys. So these are just like the official configurations. Every single part you see right here is in Build-A-Minifigure, but because it's Build-A-Minifigure, you don't have to make these exact minifigures. Each of these parts are available to mix and match however you want. We'll take a closer look at each of the figures in just a moment, but for example, we have Oni Mystake right here, and the only exclusive part on her is the face print, and the horns are somewhat uncommon, but those torso and legs, those are just the Garmadon torso and legs. And then we'll look at Nya over here, who has an amazing new exclusive torso and legs, but her face print and hairpiece you can find in other sets. So because it's Build-A-Minifigure, you are free to mix and match and optimize these however you want. So you could put the Mystake head and horns on the Nya torso and legs and essentially get 2 minifigures for the price of 1. The price for Build-A-Minifigure is $10 for any 3 minifigures. You get to pick and choose which ones you want, and each minifigure gets a total of 5 parts. There's the leg, the torso, the head, the hair or mask, and then finally an accessory. But yeah, that's all 7 Ninjago minifigures just laid out, so now let's take a closer look at them. To start off, here are the first 2 minifigures. We have Dareth and we have blue Kimono Nya. Dareth's actually pretty cool to get because it's been a while since we've last had the brown Ninja Dareth suit. If you're a longtime Ninjago fan, he's been released twice already. He was in a poly bag in 2014 and then a full-size set in 2015. And then there has been 2 other versions of Dareth since then, most recently the Ninjago City Markets in 2023. But those 2 more recent versions weren't the brown ninja suit. They were much different sorts of outfits for Dareth. So I think it's cool that after all this time they went back and made a new version of this guy. For me personally, he's not the most exciting thing in the world just because I do have the previous versions, but I fully acknowledge they're not super accessible to new fans. So for new fans, this is an awesome way to get this fan favorite character. And for existing collectors, he's not like a reprint, right? He's not exactly the same as those previous versions, so it is still a brand new minifigure to add to your collection. For comparison, here's the new Dareth lined up next to the original Dareth and the 2015 Dareth. This guy's got the wrong face, it's a custom face that I thought looked better for him. But yeah, you can see the new one is sort of like a mixture of these 2 suits. It's almost in the same way the 2020 Legacy suits were a mixture of Tournament of Elements and rebooted. You can see this Dareth design pulls over elements from both of these. The belt here is more shaped like the original, and he doesn't have this dark brown trim on his robes. However, the gold pattern on the trim better matches the 2015 version, and the collar is sort of positioned like the 2014 one, with the shape of the 2015 one. So I think this figure does a really good job to mix both designs while still absolutely feeling like Dareth. The one thing that he doesn't have here that I really wish he did is his chest hair. I just think that's a really funny aspect of that original design that would have been cool to see brought over here. But this torso absolutely does feel like Dareth. His accessory is a little trophy, which is perfect. I don't know if he's ever actually come with that in one of the sets, but of course that's very iconic to his first appearance in the show where he's got his whole like fake trophy collection. So that's cool to see as an option for him. And back torso print looks great too. He's got that brown star and more of that like gold foil at the top. It would have been nice if he had leg printing like the 2014 version had, but honestly it isn't super necessary. It still looks like him. Face print's the same one they use in the Ninjago City Markets, and it looks just like Dareth, but surprisingly it was not designed for him. This is just a LEGO City face. But yeah, it fits him so well that I wouldn't want anything different. And he's got an alternate face where he's singing, which again fits Dareth really well, but once again is just a LEGO City face. Another thing that would have been cool to see here is a brown ninja hood, because we still have never actually gotten that for Dareth. Every single Dareth has just had his hair. But again, that would have required another entirely new part, and if we got a new part here, we may have not gotten a new part on another one of the minifigures in this video. So the most important thing to capture Dareth was that torso, so I'm glad to see he got that new. For newer fans of the series who do not have a Dareth minifigure especially, I think this is awesome. It's by far the most accessible this character's ever been, because out of his 4 appearances, 3 have been in D2C sets, and 1 was in like a very limited time poly bag at 1 store. Anyway, next up we have blue Kimono Nya, which matches her outfit that we saw in March of the Oni. This is probably my favorite minifigure of this Build-A-Minifigure drop, because it's something that I always thought was a really nice looking design, but I assumed we would never get physically. If we were ever going to get it, it would have been in 2019, and 2019 came and passed and it never happened, so I just thought this one was a lost cause. But nope, it's being brought back here in Build-A-Minifigure, and it does look phenomenal. The design is pretty much a 1-to-1 color swap of the regular Nya that comes in this wave, and that Nya is of course a remake of the 2011 Nya outfit, but that's exactly what this was in the show. It was just a recolor of the 2011 Nya, so it makes sense to pull the assets from this over to this one as well. Interestingly, it seems like on the Build-A-Minifigure version, the lines are all a little bit thicker, and because the colors are so different, there is some aspects of the design that do appear differently. Like this sash that wraps around her waist, the blue kimono suit is dark blue and light blue, blue, while in regular Nya it's dark red and regular red, so there's much more of a color difference here than there is here. So despite having like the same design, it does make them feel slightly more different. Same thing with the leg piece, of course in the blue kimono design it's dark blue, which is not the same color as the torso, however on this design they're both the same color, and then this design has long sleeves and this one has no sleeves at all. So I guess what I'm trying to say is despite being nearly identical graphics, they do appear quite differently, so it does feel like two distinctly different designs. Comparison aside, I think the printing on the legs looks really nice, like it's caked on there thick, so that way the full color is shown, like none of that dark blue really shines through, so there is actually color matching between the torso and the legs. Because the printing is so thick though, it's prone to a little bit of error. You can see on the hip piece of my minifigure right here a little bit of the printing rubbed off, and of course this is going to be in Build-A-Minifigure, so it's going to be constantly like hitting against other parts. So that's not really a hit against the design of the minifigure, but just something to be aware of when you're buying these. Check your leg piece, make sure it's not damaged. But I think this was the right decision, like I think this looks really good. Back torso print's phenomenal as well. Again, all those colors are just so pretty. And then she does use her modern face print, however she uses her classic hairpiece, which is not actually accurate to the show. By the time she wore this outfit, she should have her movie hairpiece instead. But my understanding is the movie hairpiece is actually not around anymore in Nya's color. It still exists for Pixal and Silver, but if they wanted to bring back Nya's hairpiece in the correct color, it would have been considered a new part. And again, if they put one more part for Nya, that would be one less part for another character, so I get why they made the decision they did. Even though it's not available in Build-A-Minifigure though, here's how she looks with the correct hairpiece. And I will say, even though it would have required a new part, I think this would have been a really cool opportunity to give us the hairpiece with the blue hairband, because the official piece has always had this silver hairband, which is accurate to the movie, but I believe most if not all of the shows she's had a blue hairband instead, and they never actually made the blue hairband physically. So going back and doing this suit, and since the hairpiece is already not in production anyway, if you're going to bring it back, you might as well bring it back without the silver and use the blue instead. But again, I get it, this piece at least with the silver technically already exists, so people do have it in their existing collections. So when it comes to choosing like the most important places to put the Build-A-Minifigure budget, I do understand why they made the decisions they did. Next up, here are the next two minifigures available in Build-A-Minifigure. We have what I guess would call like casual Pixel, and then we have Oni Mystake. This Pixel suit's interesting because it's not really based on anything from the show. We never saw Pixel in any sort of outfit like this, however, I still actually quite like it. Because we really have never had like a more civilian design for Pixel, aside from maybe her first outfit. But yeah, every other Pixel minifigure since has been like Samurai X in full samurai gear, so it's nice to see something a little more casual for her. Generally too, I think this color scheme is really cool with the purple and the red. That's something we've not seen a ton in Ninjago generally, and her outfit actually does look like a ninja outfit. So if you wanted to make a custom purple ninja, whether it's Pixel or somebody else, I think this torso would work really well for that. This is also a nice accessible way to get any Pixel minifigure because at least as of right now, she's kind of restricted to pretty big and expensive sets. And again, just like Dareth, I know she's a fan favorite character, but not everybody can afford to get an $100 set. So her being one of your 3 minifigures in a Build-A-Minifigure I think is awesome. And her face print is the same one that was introduced last year, with a smiling happy face on one side and like the ninja mask on the other. I appreciate the little bit of metallic silver she has on her torso, I think that's cool for detailing. And then her back torso print has the Samurai X symbol, which it's cool to see that referenced. That's a very common trope on Ninjago minifigures to have the character's symbol on their back even if it's not a ninja suit. But Pixel's symbol pretty much just is the Samurai X symbol, so it's cool that that's there. And I'm also just realizing her robe has some Ninjargon on it, which I think spells out her name. Yeah, it's a bit hard to read because it's pretty small, but I'm pretty sure that spells out Pixel. Her accessory is the transparent orange katana piece, which was very rare when it first came out, but honestly it's becoming more and more common. First it was only in the markets, then it was in a polybag as well, and now it's been in a few more sets as well as a few magazines. So yeah, not as rare as it once was, but it's still a very cool part. And I think it fits Pixel well to sort of be like a sci-fi katana. Overall, this is a minifigure that I didn't know I wanted, but I'm quite happy I now have. I think she's a nice addition to the Ninjago lineup and fills something that we didn't already have. And then next up, we have Oni Mystake, who's probably my second favorite minifigure in this entire lineup. This is a minifigure I never thought we'd get officially. I never thought we'd get a normal Mystake again. But no, this year we're getting both. The normal Mystake is in the Old Town set, and Oni Mystake is in Build-A-Minifigure. Now listen, she's not 100% accurate to the show. There's 2 notable things missing. Number 1, her legs. In the show, she's got the fawn legs, which are admittedly very, very cool. Like, I would have loved to see those here. But again, just like the Nya hairpiece, it's a budget thing. If they did the fawn legs, they may not have been able to put another piece elsewhere, so then one of these other minifigures would have had to suffer. So while the fawn legs would look really, really good on this minifigure, she still works even without them, and I think it's still possible we get them on another minifigure, even outside of Ninjago in the future. The torso is the other thing that's not 100% accurate to the show, because this is actually not a new torso piece. This is the Legacy Garmadon torso piece. However, this is a change that I actually agree with, because if you look at her design in the show, I think it's kind of insane when it comes to the torso. It's one of those things that was absolutely designed by Will Film, and LEGO didn't give the check off on it for it to be like a physical minifigure. Because yeah, yeah, even with infinite budget, I don't see them making that torso as it appears in the show. This, though, is close enough. It still looks like an Oni, it still looks like Oni Mystake, and again, saves some of that budget to give us other minifigures. What she absolutely needed, though, and what is new and exclusive on this minifigure is the face print, where she has this new exclusive Oni face with, like, these magenta eyes, these really elaborate eyebrows that have, like, 3 different prongs. She's got these intense cheekbones with little swirls in them, and it even looks like there's little lips around her mouth with the fangs. There's no back head printing here, which I think is perfectly fine. But yeah, this face print is pretty much perfect, and it is the thing needed to make this minifigure actually feel like Oni Mystake. The last thing included is, like, the Black Panther mask piece, of course, turned around to create little horns, and that is absolutely perfect. That's one-to-one from the show. Not a new part, but it is the one that needed to be included here. So once again, overall, I think this minifigure is phenomenal. Is there room for improvement? Yes, absolutely. Again, those fallen legs would be huge, but there is still a possibility they come in another set down the line. With the face print, this was probably our only chance to get it, and I think it's incredibly well done. And even without the fawn legs, I do think this does a really good job of representing Oni Mystake. It's just that there's room for this minifigure to be modified and improved in the future. Here are the next 2 minifigures available in Build-A-Minifigure, and these are the final 2 figures to feature exclusive pieces. We have Kid Arin and we have Kid Sora. These are another 2 that I never expected to get, but it's really cool to finally see. Arin's in the outfit that you see in the very first episode of Dragon's Rising, where he has the Ninjago letter A on his little hoodie, and aside from that, it pretty much just is a bright orange hoodie design. Not the most complex design in the world, but it feels straight out of the show. And again, that first scene of Dragon's Rising is so iconic, that's where that show starts off, so it's really cool to now have a show-accurate version of this character. He has dark blue short legs, which makes sense, that works fine, and his hairpiece is just the Arin hairpiece, which is nice to see that a little more accessible, though there has been quite a few ways to get it. The face print is not exclusive to Arin, it is just like a generic LEGO City face. They use it whenever they have like a little kid, but Arin is a little kid here, and this works well to represent a little kid, so I like it. His accessory is a pie, which makes a ton of sense, it's Arin, and the pie piece is a very fun one to get. I'm not sure if I have much else to say on this guy, but he's good. There's not much else I would want. And then Sora is a very similar situation to Arin, where she has an exclusive torso print, but then just regular short legs, a LEGO City face, and then her hairpiece is a Ninjago piece, but it's one we've gotten before. But this one especially I think is super cool because her torso is just a generic Imperium civilian torso. When I went to the LEGO store, they didn't have a ton of these guys, but in the future I'm definitely going to stock up on a lot of this torso piece, because you could just make full, like, Imperium citizens now, which we were not able to do before. We only had, like, the full Imperium armor that was on, like, the Claw Hunters and Rapton. But in the show, you see this all the time. This is the outfit that Lloyd, Sora, and Arin wear when they go undercover in Imperium. This is what young Sora wears, what young Jordana wears. You can make Sora's parents using this. You can now fill your Ninjago collection with tons of Imperium citizens. The face print, despite being a LEGO City face, I think it works well for her. Hairpiece we've seen before for her, right? It's the same hairpiece they used before they introduced, like, the headphones piece. But unlike the last time we saw it, on Kid Sora it is actually accurate. And she does actually have an alternate face where she's, like, a little shocked or surprised, which I think also works for her. That's very cute. Back torso print has just that Imperium symbol in gold. Such a great design. Of the minifigures released, this one's probably my 3rd favorite, not because, like, the design's my favorite in isolation, but just because of what it means for my Ninjago collection, the fact that I'll be able to build out so many minifigures just with this torso piece. And the 2 of these fit together really well too. You can recreate those flashback scenes from Ninjago Dragon's Rising Season 3. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned, but Sora comes with a wrench as an accessory, which makes sense. She was building things, she's all about technology. That part fits her. And then the final Ninjago minifigure releasing in Build-A-Minifigure in January 2026 is Young Lloyd. And this guy does not have any exclusive parts, however, I'm still happy he's here. He uses the new Legacy Lloyd torso and hood piece. However, instead of having full-size legs, he's got short legs instead. And his face print's actually different as well. It's the Young Lloyd face from Legacy, which is kinda cool to get here because I didn't think that piece was still around. I fully thought that retired with the Ninjago City Gardens because that was the last set to come with it. But no, it's been brought back here, so if you guys don't have the Ninjago City Gardens and you want a Young Lloyd, this is actually pretty cool to have a very accessible way to get this part, which technically retired a few years ago. His accessory is a slingshot, which is always the fun part to get. And again, this is one of those figures that has a little something for new fans and a little something for old fans. For existing fans, this is technically a new variant, and it is like similar to something we saw in the show. Lloyd did wear the Green Ninja outfit when he was a kid, so this does feel like a proper Legacy version of that. It's also more accurate to the show than the last Legacy Kid Lloyd we got. Though, of course, it's still not 100% because it does use the Legacy design, so it's got gold on the head crest, and Lloyd has green eyes when he didn't have that at this point in the show. But for newer fans, this is an awesome way to get a Ninja for cheap. And even though it's very similar to the one that comes in the $45 like Ninja Anniversary display, not everybody has even $45. Some kids just go to the store and they have $10 to spend, and I think it's awesome to have a Ninja available there. Now, I know there's going to be some comments where people are going to say, oh, why did we get Young Lloyd when we could have gotten a more interesting character that's brand new? But there's a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, he has 0 new parts. So in terms of like the new part budget, he didn't take away anything. This figure did not affect any of the others in the series. But number 2, this is Ninjago Build-A-Minifigure. Of course there has to be a ninja in it, because so far all the other ninja in the series, Arin, Sora, and Nya, are not in ninja suits. So you have to have at least one actual ninja there. And I think this was a good decision. It's the main character, it's got some brand new parts, and it's something a little bit different than what comes in the main wave sets, so at least you're not buying the same exact thing. So yeah, I think this guy was a really good decision. Bringing back the Young Lloyd face is quite cool, and just generally I do like this year's Legacy Green Ninja design, so I'm glad that these parts are more accessible. But there we go, there is all 7 minifigures releasing at Build-A-Minifigure in LEGO stores starting January 1st, or earlier if you happen to find somewhere that put them out earlier. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these. At least me personally, I think they're pretty much perfect. This is so much more than I ever could expect from Build-A-Minifigure of all things. This year is already crazy when it comes to exclusive new Ninjago minifigures. I never expected to get this many new characters in one year, and I think Build-A-Minifigure especially is a great companion piece to the Old Town set. Because the Old Town introduces so many, this introduces so many, it does feel like one cohesive collection. And again, we're taking off so many boxes of characters I've wanted for ages that we're finally getting. Most exciting to me were definitely Oni Mystake and Blue Kimono Nya. Those are ones that I've literally been asking for years. And then all the other options I think make a lot of sense. The Arin and Sora are newer characters, but definitely still ones that we're missing. And then Dareth and Pixal are more exciting for, I guess, less hardcore fans, people just getting into the theme, but still also have something interesting about them for longtime fans as well, so that way you actually feel like you're adding something new to your collection. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of these minifigures in the comments below. If you missed it, I've done early reviews of every single January 2026 Ninjago set, including like the giant Old Town set, the blacksmith shop, the anniversary display, and every single Season 4 set. So if you haven't seen those, go check them out. There should be a playlist linked in the description and in the pinned comment. And I think that's all I've got, so thanks for watching everybody. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!